Recently, over the past couple of months, I found myself using my smartphone as my professional camera more and more. And I think it's really crazy to think that these days, a $4,000 camera is actually really comparable to a $1,000 iPhone. Like, I feel like the gap between these two devices is actually getting really, really small. And there's been times where, when traveling was still a thing, like I was able to use my iPhone to shoot really high quality video for some of my video projects. There's been times where, if I left the SD card at home, or if the battery ran out of juice, or, anything along those lines, I've found it really reliable to use my iPhone to take really high quality videos that I could actually use in my final edit. So with all that being said, here is my iPhone 12 Pro camera review. So first things first, I really want to talk about the design of the iPhone and how the design really helps you take better pictures or film better videos with it. So as most of you guys probably know, this year's iPhone has the boxy design, really reminiscent of the iPhone 5. As a photographer, I think the flat edges on the iPhone is much more easier to hold. It feels much more industrial and doesn't feel much more fragile. I feel like when I was holding my iPhone X, like the round edges with the glass back, it just felt really fragile, and I was really scared to move around with it. I really wanted to grip it in my hands as hard as you can, but for this, it feels like a brick. It feels solid, it feels premium, and when you're holding it around, like taking pictures like this, it's really grippy. And the stainless steel band isn't as slippery as it looks. It's actually really like sticky. Like maybe my phone's dirty, but I think it's actually much grippier than previous generation's iPhone. These are just kind of like the small things that I noticed about this phone while I was shooting. And I was also shooting some rollers like off my friend's car with half of my torso outside of another car, trying to get super low angle shot. And I was like, I had full confidence that my phone wouldn't fall. Like I was able to grip it at the very edge, and it just feels like it's like a brick. Okay, so with the design part out of the way, I want to talk about the actual camera now. And I really want to talk about night mode today. I believe one of the most important things about photography is lighting. I think many other photographers can agree with me that no matter like how your camera is, as long as you have really good lighting, you can take like a pretty half decent photo. Like even if you have an iPhone like 3 or 4 or something, you have really professional lighting, I think you can still take a pretty decent photo. But at night is when some of the better cameras start to perform a lot better. And it's the same with like full frame sensors and crop frame sensor cameras, right? Crop frame sensors don't perform as well at night in comparison to full frame sensors. And I think nighttime is when this iPhone really shines. So here's a photo that I shot of my friend's car. And if you zoom in here, you can see that the edges are so sharp. You can see that the lights on the car aren't overexposed. There's so much detail, like right under the tire, all the way until the bottom of the photo. If you go to the top, you can see the lights in the trees. You can see like the individual leaves even, right? And there's like minimal grain in the darkest parts of the photos. I think overall, this photo just looks really, really sharp and really well exposed. I think if someone sent this to me, like maybe via Messenger or Instagram where it's like a compressed version, I wouldn't be able to tell that was actually an iPhone photo. Now, unfortunately, the ultra wide lacks a little bit of that details. So if you zoom in on the leaves, it starts to become a little bit blurry. The details aren't as sharp, and it becomes a little bit grainy as you go to the darker parts of the photo. And if you zoom in on the car, the edges aren't as sharp. You can't really see that much detail, on the logo, on the grille. But I think overall, it's still a pretty decent photo, and nonetheless, I think it's definitely a usable photo. But then again, keep in mind that this is shooting at night. I feel like if you shot this photo during the day, the ultra wide and the regular camera, there probably won't be that big of a difference. Okay, so now let's talk about portrait mode. Now, portrait mode on this phone, like, I don't know what kind of mad scientist Apple has in their lab, but this is absolutely crazy. So check out this photo. Like, this is the photo I took of my friend's front bumper, and we just zoom in on the edge between like the background where it's blurred and the main subject that the camera thinks it is. You can see there's no distortion between the blurred background and the main subject. And if you control the depth of field slider here, let's turn up the bokeh a little bit, open up the aperture to 1.4, you can see that it does such a good job. Like maybe over here it's a little bit messy, but I think when you zoom out overall, I think it does such a good job of figuring out what's the main subject and what needs to be blurred in the background. And I think that's really impressive, you know, when I got the results from this photo. Shooting at night with this iPhone is honestly something you have to experience for yourself. Like I don't really know how to explain to you guys the amount of excitement I got when I saw these photos for the first time. Like it's absolutely crazy, and I think it's definitely something that you guys have to try in person if you guys have the opportunity to. Here are some more examples. You know, once again, zooming on the grille of the car, you can see the little details, and you can zoom in the background, you can see like the bricks, you can read the words on the sign. You know, you can even see like some of the products that the shop in the background sells. I think overall it's just such a sharp image, and I think like I'm honestly just blown away by the quality that iPhone can produce these days. Alright, now moving on, I found this puddle on the ground. I was able to get super low on the ground and take a reflection shot, and once again I think, you know, like there's so much detail that you can see in this photo, especially at night. And keep in mind that all of the photos that I took today were 100% handheld. You know, I didn't use any kind of tripod or anything, so everything was handheld. And I think being able to shoot these type of high quality photos handheld on an iPhone, I think is actually really impressive. Just zooming in here, you can see the details on the ground, you know, the squares on the fence, some of the shadows on the roof over here, and then going even further up, you can see some of the stars in the sky. But yeah, anyways, I think for this video, I just really wanted to focus on night mode on the new iPhone cameras. Because even in the keynote, I think their main focus was how awesome photos they can take at night with the new iPhone 12 Pro cameras. And, you know, I can say really confidently that I was not disappointed when I started shooting with the iPhone. And just to quickly go over the video capabilities of this iPhone, I do have an entire other video planned for that. But you know, just to not leave you guys hanging, taking video on the iPhone Pro was extremely smooth. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, it's much easier to grip, you know, with the square edges. I think it's easier to hold and film. I feel like it's like an actual like professional camera and not like some fragile piece of glass. Show you guys some example clips. You know, this one, my friend walking towards the car. You can see how it's very nicely exposed. There's lots of detail in the background. Obviously shot in 4K. Very, very nice, and it's very stable. Everything I shot was handheld. I didn't use any type of gimbals. And just to show you guys some of the rollers that I kind of took, you can see that it's extremely smooth. Everything is pretty well exposed. Yeah, and just overall, I had a really great experience filming with the iPhone 12. Like I said, I have an entire different video plan to talk about the filmmaking capabilities on the new iPhone 12. So make sure you guys subscribe if you guys want to see that, and you know, turn on bell notifications so you guys know when I upload that video. And if you guys aren't already, follow me on Instagram. I'm posting so much more content on Instagram. You'll be able to see a lot more photos that I take with the new iPhone 12, and I post everything there first. So if you guys want to see it, follow me on Instagram as well. Anyways, that's going to wrap up the video today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You know, I had so much fun shooting the iPhone. Like, I've only had it for a day and I was able to achieve such amazing results. So I can't wait to see what else I'm able to achieve with it. If you guys want to see more content about this iPhone and what it's able to do, you know, please consider subscribing and giving this video a thumbs up. Honestly helps the channel a lot, and I'll see you guys next time.